Mr. Lunch.
Hello.
You shaved
hello.
that. You shaved that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. How about that? I could stand a beard.
That's good.
Yeah. My 30 days are up. Yeah. Yep. So, to tell you the truth, I don't like the late learning hours because I get up at 4 in the morning anyhow.
I know. I don't either.
Yeah.
Because after we finish, I still have another half hour.
To prepare. To do this all for the put it online, everything, huh?
To process the video and to send it.
Oh boy. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well.
How you doing, boys?
Hello.
Who do that painting behind you?
Huh?
No, Kenny's that painting right behind you, Kenny.
I don't know.
Your daughter made it or something?
Yeah, she paints. I don't think she did this one though.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. I get all the paintings of my daughter. I'll show you a picture. She did there. That she did over there.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah, and she did this one here. This one here. I made Suba.
Nice.
The house. We got the house full of paintings. Yeah. She's really good. So,
Good evening, everybody.
Evening, Rabbi.
We
are on Chav Daled. Rabbi Yossi Baravin Avashchiach Kamed Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukros. Rabbi Yossi used to learn by Rabbi Yossi Baravin would learn by Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukros. Shavke V'asal Kamed. He left. Rabbi Yossi Baravin left Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukros and went to learn with Rav Ashi. Yom Echad Shama de Kagaris. One day, heard Rav Yossi, heard Rav Ashi say, Omer Shmuel, Ashoyle Dag Ben Ayam B'Shabbos. If somebody catches a fish from the ocean on Shabbos, Tifin Shiyavish B'Kasela, once there's a dried area on the fish, the size of a sella, the fish cannot recover. So it's considered that you took the neshama of a fish, chayiv for netilas neshama. Omer le v'le mar ubein sanpirov. So Rav Yossi Baravin jumped in and said, you should say that the dry area should be between its fins. Omer le v'lo sovel mar dahi Rav Yossi Baravin amra. So Rav Ashi immediately said, well, that's Rav Yossi Barabi. Ben Rabbav Avin, I've heard, we've said that. Omer le anod niu, yeah, it's me. Omer le v'lav kamed Rav Yossi ben Yukros avashchiach, but weren't you the Talmud of Rav Yossi ben Yukros? Omer le hein, yes. Omer le my time shav kemar v'asach. Why did you leave him and come to me? Omer le gavra da al brave al barte lechas. He didn't have mercy on his son and his daughter. How would he have mercy on me? Now, where do we see that he didn't have mercy on his son and daughter? Brei Maihi. Yom echad avu agri le'agiri b'davra. He had some workers working for him in the field. Nagalu v'laisilu rifta, but they didn't bring food for themselves. Amalei livrei. So they said to the son, I guess who was there, Kafinan, we are hungry. Havuyasve tusides, there was a fig tree. So the son said, Omar te'ena te'ena, hotzia perusech v'yochlu pole abba, give out your fruit so that we can feed the workers of my father. Afik ivachli, the tree gave fruit, so he gave them to eat. His father came. Armilu, don't be upset. I was occupying doing a mitzvah. That's why I came late. I couldn't come before. I couldn't make it until now. Amrulay. You should you should have the same kind of koich your son. What do you mean? They told him, well, your son made a miracle. He spoke to the tree gave fruit. You were matriach Hashem to bring fruit, and the fruit came before its time. You also, Yosef, Shalom Bizmana.
My goodness.
You also should be taken away.
Oh my goodness.
Not in its right time. So you see, he wasn't chas on his son. What's the story about the daughter? Barte Mai. Havale Barta Balas Yoifi. He had a very good-looking daughter. Yom Echad Chazil Gavra Kaributz v'Kachazile. He saw a neighbor making a hole in the fence so he could look into the fence to stare at the daughter. Amarla my high. So he asked the neighbor, what are you doing? Amarle Rebbe, in the loicha lozachisi, I didn't merit marrying her. Lirosa loeska, at least I can look. Amarla Biti. You're causing pain to the people. Shuvi lafrach, go back to the dust that you came from. And therefore you won't be an obstacle for people. He had a donkey, and they would rent it out. The wages that the donkey was paid, he would only go home if you put exact wages on his back, then he would go home. If it was too much or too little, he didn't move. They put an extra pair of shoes. He didn't move until they took the shoes off, and then he went. Just shows, I think these Gemaras are showing the power of the Chachamim.
Ernie, how big is your bladder? It's a
Ernie,
miracle. That's a miracle.
You must be very thirsty, Ernie, or something.
Wow.
It's not that big. It's just a little bit.
What's that big? The bladder or the bottle?
The glass.
Thank God it's okay.
9 euro.
Okay, I
You can send him some TheraBreath for that.
I don't think he needs it. I think he's okay.
Elazar ish birta karavu chazule gaboit stok avu toshmine. This Elazar was such a big charity giver that the collectors of charity would run away and hide when they saw him coming because they knew he would give away all their money to him. And so they knew that they would get in trouble because he would end up giving away all his money. So when they would see him come, they would run for the hills. To call whatever he had on him, they would give to him. His daughter was getting married. He had a lot of money in his pocket to buy the Nedunya for his daughter. She was getting married. So the Gabait Stock immediately, so they ran away. So he ran after them. Please tell me, what are you collecting for? An orphan and an orphan. We're marrying off a Yosem to a Yisoima. They go before my daughter.
Must have been a special door over there. Elazar, you hear? His name was Elazar. They chased
Yeah.
off the people to give them money.
No. Here, the charity collectors would run away because they
Yeah.
knew.
I understand, but he chased them. So I haven't
Chased
seen
them,
anybody
yeah.
chase a charity collector down the road to give him money.
Exactly. And in fact, he gave away all of his daughter's
True. So,
Nedunya.
Naden. Pashlecha, he had $1 left. Zavan Lechit, he bought 1 wheat kernel. The Asik Shadibar Kalba, and they put it in the silo where they would store grain. Asai Dvisu, so the wife came, Amrle Labarte, Ma'isi Avucha. The wife asked the daughter, what did your father do? Amrle Komada Aisi Bar Kalba Shadisi. I don't know, but whatever he bought with the money, he threw in the silo. They went to try to open the door of the silo. The silo was full of wheat. The kanavka b'tzinor de dashra. He couldn't open the door because it was so full of wheat. So obviously a miracle happened, and this silo got filled with grain because of him running after the charity collectors. The daughter went to the yeshiva. She went to tell her father, look what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for you. He did not want to benefit from assets that were Ma'aseh Nisim. You can't benefit from Ma'aseh Nisim. If you do, Hashem's going to take away from your zechuyos, take away from your ledger that you have. So she could benefit, but like an ani can benefit from it. Rav Yehuda Nisa Gazer Tanisa. Rav Yehuda, the Nasi, was Gazer Tanis. Boy Rachmi V'Lasa Mitra. He davened, it didn't rain. Look how far we've come from Shmuel Navi. We learned in our Navi shir that he caused the rain to fall even in the summer. To Yehuda ben Gamliel, who me? Oila lador shekein nitka. Woe is to the generation that has me as its leader. Oila l'misha also b'yamav kach. Woe is to a person that has a leader that is so pitiful. Now, because of this depressed feeling he had, cholosh daite asamitra. That's what led the rain to fall. So he got himself so depressed that that is what did the trick. The Bein Nasiya Gazer Tanisa. The house of the Nasi was Gazer Tanis. They didn't inform Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish. Litzafra in the morning, they told him, Armalei Reish Lakish Rav Yochanan. Halo kabilna alon mi urta. We didn't accept the fast for the night before. Anon basrayu gararinan. We follow what the base Nasi does. The base Nasi established fast, we can keep on fasting. Benesiya gozer tanisa v'lo asa mitra. The Benesiya was gozer tanis, and it didn't rain. Tanalu or Shaya zeir de min chavraya. Rabbi Shaya explained the pasuk v'haya im me'eineha edan ne'asta lishkaka. The leaders are called the eyes of the nation. Mashal Kalashi Bevei Savia, like a widow, like a bride in the house of her father. Because Man Sheinei Yafos, if her eyes are clear, and Kol Gufa Tzricha B'dika, then the rest of her body doesn't need B'dika. Ain't that true choice? But if she's got crying eyes, Kol Gufa Tzricha B'dika, gotta check her out. Also, Adev Ramalei Sudr B'Tzavore, the Kometzarule. They put, it was like insulting to the base Nasiya. So they put like a scarf around his neck. We're like choking him. Even the Chazin called Mili Lishum Shamayim. But everything he said was L'Shem Shamayim. Lo Amr Le Midi V'Shav Kinan Le. Left him alone. So Nami Shavku, so they stopped chapping him. Because all of his Maisim was L'Shem Shamayim. Rabbi Gozer Tanisa V'Lasim Mitra. Rabbi was Gozer Tanis, it didn't rain. Nochas Kame Ilfa. Ilfa went to Davin in front of Rabbi. V'amila Rav Ilfi. Omar, Mashiv Aruach, Unasa Zika, the wind blew. Then he said, Morid Agesha, Vasa Mitra. So Rabbi wanted to Omar, my Oivda, what is your skula? Omar, the Yarna Bekusta, the Chika, the Lesbe Charmele Kiddush of Avdalta. I live in a place where people have a hard time getting wine for Kiddush and Avdallah. I spend a lot of time making sure that everybody gets wine for Kiddush and Avdallah. That was his chuz. Rav Ikla Uasa. Rav visited a certain place. He was Gozer Tainis, Velosamit, or didn't rain. Nachas Kama Shlicha de Tzibura. A certain chazan started to daven. Omer Mashiv Aruach Unasa Zika. And the wind blew. Omer Morid Agasha and Vasamit, and the rain fell. Omer Le Mayov, did they ask the chazan, what's your trick? Omer Le Mikra Dardikan, I'm a Malamed. I teach in Cheder. And I teach poor kids the same that I teach wealthy kids. And whoever can't afford it, I don't collect money. V'isli peri de kavri, and I have fruit. Command de pasha, whoever needs to learn, I give it to them, the fruit. That makes them learn. So he's a very, very fine Malamed who didn't take money. Reminds me of Rabbi Gottesman from Hillel, who educated a lot of kids, even though they couldn't afford it. Rav Nachman Gozer Tanisa. Rav Nachman was Gozer Tanis. Boy, Rachmi V'Losa Mitra. He davened, it didn't rain. Omer Shakul Nachman Chavotim in Gudula Ara. You know what? They should throw Nachman into the wall because they see that he's ineffective. Again, he cholosh daite, thinking about that made him depressed. Also mitra, and then it rained. Rabbi Gozer Tanisa. Rabbi was Gozer Tanis. Boy Rachman V'Losa Mitra. It didn't rain. Amrulay. Rav Yehuda have a Gozer Tanisa also mitra. I mean, how come for Rav Yehuda it worked? Amrulu Maya Avid. We learn better than Rav Yehuda. The Bishari Rav Yehuda called Tnuyi Benezikin Avid. The only Masechtos they had was Baba Metzia, Baba Kama, and Baba Basra. They didn't have any other Masechtos. Anan Kamastina Beshisa Siddur. We learn all three Seder Mishnayos. Rav Yehuda was learning Uktzin. Aisha Shekovesh Yorak Bigdera, a woman who's making vegetables. V'amilei Zeisim Shekavsham B'tarfim Toirim. Omar, he said, Avois Rav Shmuel K'chazin Hacha. I see that these are the debates of Rav Shmuel. So the learning in Rav Yehuda's time was not on the level of Rav Shmuel. V'anayim Kamas Tis booked in place from Mesivta. We have 12 yeshivas that are studying Uktzin. Yet, Ila Rav Yehuda ki Avasholav Chad Nesana, all Rav Yehuda had to do is take off one of his shoes, Osi Mitra, and it started raining. They didn't have to wait for him to take off a second shoe. The Anon, we, Katzavchin and Kula Yoima, we cried, took a nacht, nothing happens. So, imishum of the lema. If it's because we do bad things, did anybody see me do bad things? He blamed it on the door. That perhaps Rav Yehuda's generation was a better. It's our generation's sins. That's why the rain is not falling. Rav Yehuda Chazanu Beitrei Davu Partzi Berifta. Rav Yehuda saw two people that were bizoyan with bread. Omar Shmamina Ikas Sava Ba'alma. Must be if they're playing around with bread, it must be that there's too much bread. So Yoavene, he looked at it, led to a famine. We got to get him to change this. The students that are in front of Yehuda should make it that he goes out to the market and see that people are suffering. So Asya Unafak, he went to the market, Chazak Knufya, he saw that there was famine. Armele Maihai, Armele Akuspa de Tamri Kaimi, become his dabin. They're all trying to buy a little bit of dates. There's not enough dates. Shmamino Kafna Ba'alma. So he's told his servant, take off one of my shoes. Shalaf Lechad Misan of Asa Mitra started raining. Kimata Lemishal Fachrini, when he went to take his other shoe off, Asa Eliyahu V'Amarle, Eliyahu Navi came and told him, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ishal Fachrina Machrim Nelana. If you take off the other shoe, I'm going to destroy the whole world. Amar of Mary brother Bashmua. Anava Kamina Aguda Dinar Papa. I was on the river bank of Nar Papa. Chazoy Malachi di Idmi Lamalchi de Komaisi Chala Umalun La Arbe. The Malachim appeared like sailors that are bringing sand and filling up the boats, but it turns out that it's turning into Havikim Chadismid, turning out to fine flour. Also, Kulam Izbin, the world came to buy. Armalu Mehalo Tizbenun. I'm not going to tell you from these Demaisa Nisim who tomorrow a boat is coming from Parzina with wheat and the famine will end. Rava Ikla Hagrunya. Rava visited Hagrunya. Gozer Tanis of Lasa Mitra. It was Gozer Tanis, it didn't rain. Armalu Bitu Kula Alma B'Tanais Tanasaichu. You should continue fasting even tonight. The next day that he told them, whoever had a dream last night, tell us the dream. I saw in my dream a pasuk. Shalom tov l'rav, tav meribon, tav demituve, meitiv la'ame. That it's a good time. It's a shalom tov for the Rav. The Rav is a good Rav, and is a good master, and he's trying to benefit the world. Omer Shmami no es rotzen he. So Rav figured it's an es rotzen. So my boy l'rachmi davened. Boy rachmi vasi mitra. He davened and it rained. Hahu gavra dischayev nagde bebeidina the Rav mishum debon nachris. He had relations with a non-Jewish. And Beis Din was goizer that he should get malchus for that. Nogde Rava umis, they gave him malchus, he died. Ishtama milsa beishwar malka. Now, the Jewish courts could not adjudicate the capital punishment in Persia. So the Persian king Shvor Malka heard about it. Boilitzar la Rava, they wanted to cause trouble for Rava, who ended up killing this guy. Armele Ifra Hurmiz Ime de Shvar Malka Livra. So Ifra Hurmiz was the mother Shvar Malka told her son, Lo lavelech esek dvar b'chadi yudoy. Don't start up with these Jews. The Koman the boy Marayu Yoevle. Whatever they ask from their master, meaning Hashem, he does for them. Amar lo mahi. So Shvar Malka didn't understand. What do you mean? What do they do? So she explained, Boin Rachmi Vasi Mitra. They daven and it rains. Amar lahu mishum dezina demitru. So Shvar Malka didn't believe it. That you know what? It's the time of rain. They're making as if their tefillas are bringing the rain, but really they're davening when it's a rain time. So said Shvar Malka, Boy Rachmi Ayid, let them daven now. B'tkufas Tammuz in the summer. Let's see if it rains. Shalchalei Rava. So they sent word to Rava, Kivan Daitach Boy Rachmi the less mitra. Daven and see that rain will come. Boy Rachmi v'lasi mitra. He davened, didn't rain. Amar lafon Rebbeinu Shalom. Elokim boznenu shamanu avosenu sipur lanu pol poat b'meinu b'mei kedem. These are stories that happened in the past. Va'anu beinenu lo reinu. We didn't see nisim in our eyes. Also, mitra de shvach mars v'ditzipor lediglas. It rained so hard that the faucets of Tzipori were filled up from the Euphrates River or the Tigris. Also, Abu is Chazile Bechalmi. So Rava's father appeared to him in a dream. Who's chapping Hashem so much? Shani Duchte. He told him to change his makam because Meshana makam, Meshana mazel. And I guess the Persians sent assassins to put knives in his bed. If he hadn't changed, because he was told by his father in the dream to change Mekomos, he would have been killed. Rav Papa Gazer Tanisa Velasa Mitra. Rav Papa was Gazer Tanis, it didn't rain. Cholash Libe. So he felt bad. Saraf Pinchel Tadaise, he burned some kind of or he had the famine caused him to have heart pain, so they brought him like oatmeal. Uboy Rachmi still lost some interest. He davened, he still didn't rain. If a person would eat a different plate of oats that were burned, it'll rain. Because everybody's fasting and Rav Papa's eating. Asi Mitra. And then it rained. Ichsif. He oh no, the Daitza Asi Mitra, he basically said everybody else is fasting and you're eating. So Ichsif, he was embarrassed. The Cholash Daite, he was depressed. Asi Mitra. That's what led to the rain falling. They basically shepherded him until that's what triggered the rain. Rav Chanina ben Doisa v'kazal b'urcha. If when Rav Chanina ben Doisa was walking, was raining, so it disturbed his travels. Fine, everybody else is happy because they have rain, but I can't travel. Pasuk Mitra, the rain stopped. When he got home, now everybody's in Sar because they have no rain, so Asa Mitra. The Kohen Gadol, when he came out of the Kodesh Kodashim, had a tefillah. Basically, the Gemara is asking, what did the tefillah of Kohen Gadol have an effect on Rav Chanina? Did not. When he came out of the Kodesh Kodashim, he davened a short tefillah. My matzli, what did he daven? Ravin Barad, Damer Tavai Mishmei Rav Yehuda. You are at Sof Vanach Hashem Lokenu. Shetei Hashana Zu Geshuma Ushchuna. It should be a good rain. Shchuna means a warm rain. So, Shchuna Ma'ayisahi, is that good? Adarab Griyusahi, it's not good. Ela im Shchuna, if it's warm, Tei Geshuma Tlula. It should be a lot. And it should be like dew. Ovrei Drachim. And you should not listen. This is what the Kohen Gadol David. You shouldn't listen to the prayers of the travelers, because the travelers pray that it shouldn't rain. So we're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu not to listen to the travelers. So the shaila is, what was the benefit of the tefillah of the Kohen Gadol regarding Chanina ben Doisa? There was no benefit, because Chanina ben Doisa was like a ben bayis by Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ravacha bred Rav Messiah Shved Rav Yehuda lo yadi avid shultim mit beis Yehuda. He would finish his tefillas and say that there shouldn't be a king in Israel other than from the tribe of Yehuda. Vayu amcha Yisrael tzrichim nitzparnei zeh mizeh. Jews should not have to rely on other Jews for parnasa. V'lo l'am acher, not to another nation. Every day there's a heavenly voice that comes out and says, everyone in the rest of the world gets their parnasa because of Chanina. The Chanina ben Idaya b'kav karuv me'erev Shabbos erev Shabbos. Chanina ben Doisa would eat a certain amount of carobs, last him a whole week. Have a regila dvisel lemechmet tanur komali d'shabta v'shadi akatrata. Chanina ben Doisa's wife would heat up the oven Friday night, and to make a big smoke, mishum kisufa. She didn't want the neighbors to know that they're so poor that they don't have bread. So they made it like a false flame in their oven. Okay.